Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Ferguson City Council for September the 13th. Meeting is now called to order. At this time, we'll stand for a silent prayer. The Pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Noah.
Here.
Councilman Palmer.
Here.
Councilwoman Burrow.
Here.
Councilwoman Robinette.
Here.
Councilwoman Lipka.
Here.
Councilwoman Nelson.
Here.
Okay, Mayor Jones.
Here. A quorum is present. At this time, we will need a motion on the floor to amend the agenda. Attorney Carey and City Manager had an opportunity to speak to the owner of Elite Market, and they are in compliance for what we had asked of them. And so we would like to add them to the agenda for approval for their liquor license.
So moved.
Burrow.
Yeah. Seconded, Mayor Linda Lipka, Ward 1.
Okay. Are you ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Abstain.
I'm going to abstain as well.
So at this time, we need a roll call vote. I take it, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Noah.
Abstain.
Councilman Palmer.
Abstain.
Councilwoman Burrow.
Aye.
Councilwoman Robinette.
Aye.
Mayor Jones.
Aye.
Councilwoman Lipka.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nelson.
Aye.
What is the vote count, please?
I have 5 aye and 2 abstain.
Motion carries.
Mayor, can we just clarify, if you don't mind, too, just because Councilman Palmer and Councilwoman Noah are a little bit newer, I hope you guys understand that this vote was simply to put this on the agenda. It was not anything to do with the actual issue, correct, Mayor?
Right, it's to be put on the agenda for approval.
Well, there'll be discussion at that time, correct?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so I just want everybody on the council to understand that this vote was just to get it on the agenda. Once it's on the agenda, it's going to be asked for an approval, but we still can have a discussion.
Okay. At this time, we have public comments. As citizens, you were asked to either send your comments in by email on Monday or make a note in the chat box that you would like to speak. Each person will be given 3 minutes. City Clerk Pittman, do we have any comments for tonight?
Yes, the first was emailed and that was from Jacqueline Lewis Harris.
Dr. Harris?
Yes. I sent it in to be read, but it's okay. I can say it. Basically, about 4 years back, I actually worked with Washington University to survey senior citizens in Ferguson, and the vast majority of them wanted to downsize and stay in Ferguson in senior housing. And then also there is a new government survey out saying that there's going to be a vast increase need for senior housing, especially in the Midwest. And so I'm putting this out to basically say what's going on with the senior housing project that was going to be showing up on Falls Ferry, because I see that it was voted upon in March, but then I haven't heard anything else. And, you know, we really need to keep these kind of projects rolling. That's it.
Thank you, Dr. Harris.
You're welcome.
That's the only one I've received via email. First on my list tonight is gonna be Erica Brooks.
Erica Brooks.
Good evening. I just wanted to bring some things to the community's attention, and one being about the missions test. I don't know if some people have been encountering what I had encountered, where a lot of the different places that do the admissions tests are making you set appointments. So when people try to go and get the admissions test done, I had to get one part of it done and then the other part done. I couldn't get both of them done at the same time. So when it comes to the police being aware of what the different people are doing that are giving these admissions tests, people don't get tickets to be able to, you know, get their license sticker on their cars. Because I mean, there should be some line of communication with the police department so that they can know, like say for instance, some people have appointments set. So to be able to just know that you can't get an appointment done and the police recognize that, so they don't just, you know, outright give you a ticket for not having an up-to-date sticker. That's the first thing I want to say. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is a retention wall, and that's in regards to the flooding that happened. And I know I had, I don't know if I mentioned it on the city council meeting or not, but when I had gone to the governor's meeting that was held in U City a while back, I had asked them, why don't they have retention walls along these different creeks that's along the side of the houses to make sure that the water flow in a direction where it goes to a bigger a source of water. And it was brought to my attention that they didn't want the water to be guided in other people's neighborhoods. So I'm trying to ask the city of Ferguson, or have you all addressed having retention walls in this, like the Maylene Creek area where I live at, which was totally like really flooded. I mean, it's also flooded down there off of St. Paul. I was also walking in the park, the Forest Wood, as well as the January Waller at Bass Park. And I know y'all, you in the process of doing master plans, have already finalized master plans to revitalize them or whatever, but I was wanting to suggest that you all have markers to let people know how many miles they have walked so that they can keep count of what they're doing, you know, as far as achievement is concerned. I think that's, well, other than people getting involved in voting and understanding the new laws of voting with House Bill 1878, to understand what different IDs are not going to be recognized when you go to vote in November. So those are all the things I want to talk about. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brooks.
Okay, next I have Adrian Shropshire.
Good evening, council. Good evening, mayor and the citizens. Just a few things that I gotta go quick here. I would like to see the Samaritan cleanup crews maybe contact with the city on when they clean up around town, because you know some people are still getting some stuff cleaned up and they're stacking it out on the street. So it's you really don't know when it hits the street. Something else, I'd like to see a neighborhood watch put together with some of the ARPA funds. We had a Urban League came in, I think for $750, that's a great deal, because there's citizens right now turning in stolen cars, being parked in garages, and stolen cars being parked on the street and in their parking lot. So why not form a citizen watch to put the sign in the window for $750, neighborhood watch. I want to thank Public Works for what they've done. They stepped up beyond the call of duty, picking up all this viral trash and mattresses and all that stuff. You know, my hat's off to them, because that's a lot of infested waste. The police department, we had an issue in our neighborhood with a little lady, got in trouble with her grandparents, and granddad did something, and you know, they were kind and they were understanding. And they treated her just like she was one of their own kids and young adults. And I was very pleased with that. You know, so our training is really doing good. Next EST board meeting. You know, I haven't heard anything about that or anything. And I'd like to know where the ARPA funds are being spent. It didn't go past the nonprofits, so I'd like to hear some kind of report on where that money's going to. Don't keep us in the dark. Black Oaks. I am frustrated as a Board of Commission person that the city manager went into Black Oaks, talked to them, offered a different program to them than what was initially brought before our committee. They had an attorney and we went in there with squirt guns. That's terrible, because now I feel that we've lost in both ends. The Black Oaks residents don't trust us, and then the businesses.
40 seconds.
I guarantee you, they're not going to come in here. Black Oaks is going to fight tooth and nail. And that was a bad move, going in there on your own, trying to negotiate without the citizen representative as the mayor or with a council person. That we don't have eminent domain here, so you can't be forcing these people to sell. And I would like to hear a city finance report. At least Jeff gave us one. We might not have been able to see it, but you look around every time he had something up on the screen. I would like to know what direction and how our city's going. And we haven't had one of them in about 12 months. So I appreciate your time. And thank you, council, for hearing me out, and have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shropshire.
Cassandra Butler.
Good afternoon, good evening. Just a few points quickly. First off, I want to congratulate our mayor. She has received numerous honors this year, with the latest one being just this month at the Urban League Women in Leadership as one of the honorees. So I want to congratulate you on that. And I also want to say, I see you, I see the hard work you put in. And I know that you don't really get paid for this position, and you put the time in. You put Ferguson's name out front, and you participate in so many events in the area. And I just appreciate how you're providing that leadership. So I want to say thank you, including when I called you this in February about speaking to a group of students who were doing a civil rights tour, and they wanted to stop in Ferguson, and you volunteered your time to speak to them. So I just appreciate you very much. Thank you. The second thing I want to mention is I'm with Dr. Jackie Harris about what's going on with the senior citizen building. And in particular, I wanted to ask the city's attorney, because it sounds like I'm hearing that there's one thing after another, and it almost sounds like they're timed in a way to kill a project without killing the project. So I wanted to know if the problems, or if the slowdown that is happening, and it sounds like from the city's position, are we trying to kill the project without killing it? Or is it political, or is it really legal and technical? Because the way a city does this really does kill economic development or other developments, and everybody knows that. So what are we doing? That's my question. And third, I just want to bring to the council's attention,
40 seconds,
how many?
40.
Okay. I just want to bring to the council attention all of the other governing bodies in the area that are having conflicts of interest dialogues. I'm hearing them on the St. Louis County Council. I'm hearing them obviously in the city of St. Louis, which, you know, they had two aldermen, and Louis Reed resigned. Conflict of interest is nothing to flick your fingers at, which is the way I felt this city council did when we brought that up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Last I have Nick Kassoff.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I've got something to say about traffic commission, but before I start on that, I just want to say very quickly, Louis Reed and the other people who resigned in the city of St. Louis didn't resign over conflict of interest. They resigned because the feds caught them taking bribes. So let's not obfuscate that issue. Nobody in Ferguson has taken any bribes from anybody, and that's not an issue here at all. So I wanted to talk about traffic commission this evening, which for those of you who don't know, I'm chair of the traffic commission. At the last council meeting some weeks ago, there was a candidate to serve on the traffic commission who was had submitted his application, and it was put forward by Councilor Robinette. A majority of council voted against this candidate, who, so far as I know, is both highly qualified and met the city's requirements that you be a resident and have all of your taxes paid, which are the only requirements in the charter. The mayor raised the issue that he's not a US citizen, but our charter doesn't require that for serving on a board or commission, and never has. So tonight we've got a bill up for second reading, which allows people to serve for a longer period on boards and commissions. And it also allows people to serve on more than one. I think you can serve on two rather than just one. And I think it's great to open it up for people who are enthusiastic and want to do more than one thing. But if we're going to reject highly qualified, longtime Ferguson residents who want to serve for spurious political reasons and just push them to the side, what's the point of having these boards and commissions at all? So I want to ask the council to please stop playing political games with the traffic commission and get Stephen Robbins on there. We've got to change the date of our meeting this month on account of the redistricting commission is going to be on the have a public hearing on the same date that we would normally have our meeting. So it's a good question whether we're going to be able to make a quorum this month, because people have to reshuffle their schedules based on this unexpected change. If we had filled that position by confirming Stephen Robbins' nomination to Traffic
40
Commission,
seconds.
that would be one more person that could help us get to quorum in case other people have conflicts. But because of political games that had no merit at all, and I say this because I emailed every counselor who voted no on that nomination and asked them why, and I got no response from anybody. So again, I want to know why Mr. Robin wasn't confirmed, and I would like council to please stop playing games with Traffic Commission. We're here to serve you on the council by collecting information and processing things so that you can make good decisions about traffic. We've got to have people on this board. So please get that taken care of for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kassoff.
Excuse me,
I don't have
Mayor.
anyone additional, Mayor.
You have someone else?
No, ma'am.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, there are people, this is Naquita, I'm sorry to interrupt. There are people texting that they can't get into the meeting. Is something wrong with the ID? Is there anyone waiting?
No, I'm not showing anyone waiting.
Okay.
I had to, I had to close mine and open it back up again because at first it was saying that there was another meeting in progress. And when I closed and went back in, then I was able to get in. So maybe they should, if they can try that, they'd be able to get in.
The same thing happened to me. This is Tony. Same thing happened to me.
Mayor, I will just echo that. I've got some people texting me saying they're having a hard time getting in.
Okay, Octavia, would you check again, please?
I mean, it pops up on my screen, Mayor, and I just had one person to just enter, but I don't have anyone waiting.
Okay, thank you. Staff has heard the concerns of the citizens. We ask that staff would answer the questions that they can need be. Thus close the public comment section. We will move to the manager's report. City Manager, Eric.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor, City Council members of the community. I will first kind of go over some of the questions that came up in public comment tonight. First, on the note of Samaritan's Purse. So city staff met with Samaritan's Purse, not last Friday, but the Friday previous, to coordinate the remainder of the flood debris. We have Public Works and the Samaritan's Purse head Clay in constant communication. So Samaritan's Purse is actually notifying Public Works as they are finishing up vacating a house of flood debris, and they are showing up that same day to clean up that flood debris. The most recent report I got today was that there was about 5 houses last week where a flood debris was brought out to the side of the house and then by Samaritan's Purse, and then one of our flood debris contractors showed up within a couple of hours to haul that trash off. So we're thankful for that coordination work. Next, there was a question about finance reports. We did give an update about the financial health, fiscal health of the city back during the budget process in June, throughout June and early July. Our finance director, new finance director, Evan Trump, will be giving a quarterly update this fall. So members of our community, please look forward to that being a standard update moving forward. ARPA dollars, I can certainly provide a historic spend of that. I'll make sure that I give a brief update about ARPA dollars and projects at the next meeting. That being said, we did in our budget process, we did actually allocate those dollars to specific projects, and those were driven by community input that we did at our ARPA meetings late last year, earlier this year. The other thing to mention is that FEMA still has a presence in Ferguson and throughout the St. Louis metro area. We have a disaster recovery center set up at the Urban League on West Florissant. Just as I kind of say every meeting, please go to fergusonfloodrecovery.com for the most recent updated information related to the flood. The Disaster Recovery Center is a great place to go if you are having trouble navigating any of your applications that you've submitted to FEMA for the purposes of recouping any costs incurred or damages related to the flood. So please, again, go to fergusonfloodrecovery.com if you have any information, if you are needing any information or guidance. Not next Tuesday, but the last Tuesday of this month, FEMA will actually be coming to the city to meet with city staff to continue coordinating flood relief efforts. This next meeting is for what's called public assistance, which is reporting to FEMA all of the damages that the city incurred specifically during the flood. We'll be working, we actually have the majority of that day blocked off for us to sit down and make sure that we have all of the correct materials there for review. Looks like we have a question from Councilor Noah.
Oh, I can wait until you're finished, Eric. I just didn't
Oh,
want.
well, that was the end of my FEMA and flood update. If you wanted to ask a question about that.
Okay, thank you. I do. Residents have been reaching out, residents who live on, the streets that were hit the worst, Lee, Patricia, Oliver, questioning, are there any conversations with the governor about buyouts on those streets? And how many houses, if any, have been condemned due to the flood?
Yeah, so far, we have not condemned any houses. There is a process that we're undergoing right now as a city staff where planning is going through and tabulating all of the data related to the flood. And that will be something that we'll update council on once we finish that work, but there's been no condemnation at this time.
Okay, thank you, because just for clarity, again, residents are inquiring, and because a few of the residents are stating that their houses have been flooded maybe 5 or 6 times over the years. So, they just want to know if there's any update. So, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. That ends the things that I had to talk about today. Up next, we have Chief Hampton here to provide an update about fire. Chief Hampton.
Mayor, Council, pleasure to be here as always. I'll go into the fire and plus some of the flood stuff. Right now, currently, we're a little bit over 3,000 calls, and it looks like we're on the pace of running 4,500 to 5,000 calls. Right now, our truck situation is I have one truck that was damaged during the flood. We're working with the insurance company and the manufacturer of the truck currently, and they may be close to finding out whether or not it's going to be able to be fixed or not. Also, we are having some equipment that we've lost during that same flood that me and the finance director are working with, trying to get replaced, and we will be working with FEMA as well. 3015, which is the ladder truck, went over to Madison, Illinois a couple weeks ago, I believe last week or week before that, I'm sorry. And since the governor of Illinois declared that a disaster, we're going after some of our costs that we incurred on that, such as cleaning of the ladder and a 50-hour maintenance, which is, we did that for a preventative thing since what we had during that fire. You're going to see crews out in the neighborhoods, twisting the hydrants and inspecting the hydrants. They were also going to be doing business inspections. And while they're doing the business inspections, they're also making pre-plans and updating business contacts. September 30th of this month, the firehouse will be hosting a movie called Encanto. And we hope all the families can come out and enjoy. And October 21st, we will be doing pumpkin carving, and we'll be having a movie, the pumpkin carving at 6, and then we'll do a movie at 7:15 called With the Addams Family. We've teamed up with the Parks Department to make that happen. We have also currently been trying to get some grants. Most recently, we got the Missouri American Water Grant for fire department, which is about $1,200. We also were just approved for the AFG grant for health, wellness, and cancer and behavioral health program. This is a pretty big grant, and I will be going over this with the finance director and city manager in the next couple of days to see if we are going to accept this, which I think we will. So that's where we're at right now, currently at the fire department. Like I said, with the fire truck that's down, we're in our reserve truck, which is putting a lot of stress on that truck, which is a reserve and it should be, used sparingly. So we're trying to work faster with the insurance companies. Actually, the manufacturer of the fire truck is where everything is right now. Just to give a little backstory on that, we had water that went into the cab of the truck. Currently in Charlotte, North Carolina, I believe it was last year, they had the same situation. Those trucks then were totaled out because the water was over the frame rail, which you may not think, oh, we need a total out truck, but there's so much electronic equipment on these trucks nowadays. plus the transmission, the motor and all that, it just wouldn't add up, and we'd be chasing problems probably the rest of the life of that truck. So with that being said, we would get insurance money, but then the city's not on the hook for all that because, like Eric said, we will be working with FEMA and SEMA to help also offset some of that cost. I believe it's like 75% FEMA after the insurance, and then 10 to 15% from SEMA. And then the cities, I think, anywhere from range of 10 to 15% on the cost of a truck. And that's where we're at currently. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Where are our COVID-19 numbers?
So our COVID-19 numbers, we did not have which is good, we did not have the big, huge spike that we all anticipated. Currently in 63135 and 63136, our numbers are going down. We are still working on with the county health department on getting the vaccination center at the fire department one more time before the end of the year. Right now, we're having some logistic problems that we're trying to work out with them. But our numbers have been decreasing, but that's also due to people getting home tests. And people are actually staying home when they are sick and not coming into work that we're seeing. And that goes for the schools as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor and Council.
You're welcome.
Mayor, that concludes the manager's report.
Thank you, City Manager. Item number 4, we don't have any special presentation. We don't have item number 5 is the public hearing. We have none tonight. We move to our consent agenda. The City Council meeting minutes, we don't have any for tonight. We do have minutes from the boards and commission meeting minutes. We have minutes from the Civilian Review Board, which is June the 6th, 2022, and July 11, 2022, and the Traffic Commission from 7/19/2022. I am going to request a motion in a second to receive and file the minutes of the meetings.
Mayor, are you going to do that for both individually or both as a pair?
We could go as a pair.
If you don't mind, I'd like to request that we go individually because I do feel like the minutes on each board is very important to be individually entertained.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that. I know it's minor, but thank you.
No problem, no problem.
I move to accept the minutes for the CRB, Mayor.
Is there a second?
Second, Naquita Noah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. CRB minutes are accepted. For the Traffic Commission. A motion.
Mayor, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I make a motion to accept the minutes for the Traffic Commission, Linda Lipko, Ward 1.
Received and filed. Okay. Is
Yes,
there a second?
Tony Barrows, so moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes from the Traffic Commission has been received and will be filed. We do not have any appointments for tonight. At this
Mayor,
time-
can I raise my hand real quick on this point right here? And again, let me put it over here and do it right. There you go.
Councilwoman Lipka.
So in regards to the appointments and the concerns that have been discussed about Stephen Robin being appointed, I would like to leave the door open to the fact that I would like to go back and do this again on the 27th of September. The case being, we are not as a community asking the city or the council members the right question. There is nothing in the bylaws or the charter that says this gentleman cannot be on a commission because he's not from the United States. The question we need to be asking is he in the United States legally? And I know he is. So we need to get the information from him as to the name of the visa or the program that has him in the United States Because once we have that information, that's what's going to answer the concerns of those on city council that voted against him. This is all you need. And in regards to being an upstanding citizen, he is that. Paying his taxes, he is that. Involved, he is that. So I want to get a little bit of more information from him so that I can present it to you so that we can go back to his application and review it again so that this council is not accused of being discriminatory of immigrants. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Lipka. We move to your hand still up.
Oh, sorry. I keep doing that. I
Okay.
apologize.
Okay, no problem. We move to request liquor license approval. Clerk Pittman.
Yes, first I have a new applicant and that's for the business Flight 314 Cafe. The managing, we have representative officers here or representatives here. But on the application, I have Arthur Chikaluba. I want to make sure I say that right. They are looking to go into the 235 South Florissant Road, but I have them here so that way they can explain to you what it is that they're looking to do.
Okay, the representatives for the new Flight 314 Cafe. You have the permission to speak.
Good evening, council and mayor. This is my fiance, Arthur Chikaluba. I'm Jacinta Callahan. Introduce yourself.
Arthur Nnamdi Chikaluba.
So we are currently looking to open up Flight 314 Cafe, and the theme of this cafe is going to be aviation. We both came up into that, so the whole inside will be basically replica of the inside of an aircraft. And how we came up with this is I'm actually still in the military, the Air Force. I've served for 7 years, and I work for, I'm a flight attendant for Southwest Airlines. And him and I have been traveling, throughout our time together. And this is how we came up with the whole flight. So the meaning of the Flight 314 is we would like to serve flights, drinks, as far as different cocktails that are like, it'll be like 3 flights or like a flight of margaritas. And they would come from different parts of the country that we visited. And then as well as the food we would like to serve. He's actually Nigerian, so we would like to incorporate on Fridays, we would have like a Nigerian night where we would serve Nigerian food, have Afro beats and things such as that. I hope I'm not missing anything. I'm super nervous to be sitting here talking, first of all.
That's okay.
So I hope I'm not really missing anything. Do you have anything to say?
Actually, and I do have other bars. I do have a bar on Delmar, so I'm experienced in the bar and restaurant business. I've been doing that for 11 years. So I think it's going to be a great venture, bringing it to Ferguson.
Okay. Councilwoman Lipka.
You knew I was going to put my hand up. You know that, right?
Yes.
So welcome. That's a great concept. Which location in that building? Are you going to be in the middle or toward the end? What?
Towards the end.
Towards the end. So
Oh, and further away from the parking lot?
No, it's
Right by the parking lot.
yeah.
Okay. And then what is your estimated time of opening?
So we are actually trying to get open I would say we had it planned for like October 1st.
But we're gonna push it.
But we're trying to push it like as soon as possible, honestly. So as soon as we hear some great news, we've actually been getting everything in the works as we speak.
So you were talking about your Friday night ideas and your conceptual ideas. What is the days of the week that you want to be open? What are the hours that you're going to be having your business open?
Actually, we're trying to open from Wednesday to Sunday. On the weekday, we're going to try and close about between 9 and 11. That depends on the traffic. Then on the
So what
weekend-
time will you start your day?
Oh, at 5.
So it'll be an evening business. It's going to be
Yes.
5 to 9 or?
Yes, we're going to open up for dinner, happy hour dinner and stuff like that. That's going to be the theme of this. So.
And then will your weekend hours be longer than your Thursday, Friday hour? I mean, what,
We plan on doing brunch on Sundays and Saturday
okay,
as well, and then we come back at like 8 o'clock and go from 8 to 1 or 8 to 12, that depending on the traffic, like we said.
on Sundays, are you talking about 12 midnight or 12 afternoon?
12 midnight on
On
weekend.
Sunday?
On weekends, yeah.
Okay, well, I guess, okay, just want to clarify. So you're looking to be open Wednesday through Sunday, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, and you want to open around 5 o'clock to capture the happy hour and the dinner time business.
Correct.
And you want to close around 9 o'clock, but on the weekends, you're going to be open till around 12 is what you said?
Between 12 and 1, yeah.
And then on Sundays, you want to open around, I guess, around 11 to do a brunch?
Correct. And
Okay.
so we want to do from like 11 to like 4:30 on Sunday. And then we want to do our night, like say for instance, we do like our theme night, however we choose to do that. On Sundays, it will be from 9. We will open back up from 8 to 12. I think that's what we
Well,
have.
the only thing I ask, and I would like to pose this question back to the city manager, do we have any rules or concerns with hours on Sundays? I know we have had the discussion with some other businesses of having a closing time on Sundays, or is that something that was something we talked about in the past and is long gone? I do know that I remember having that conversation about some other businesses. It may have been the dispensary. I don't remember exactly, and it may have been liquor stores. I don't know if it's really restaurants. So could you clarify for me, city manager, that question?
Yeah, so I would actually direct that to Apollo, our attorney, just because I've not been here long enough to know what in the past if we've made any comment on business hours.
So I don't directly know the answer to that question. It could be in the city ordinances that certain businesses aren't allowed to be open or sell liquor on a particular day. I mean, and it could be a county thing as well. So I'm not quite sure of the answer.
All right. Well, I don't know if there's even an issue. I was just asking. And Mr. Palmer has his hand up and he owns businesses. So I'm going to turn it over to him and I'm done. Thank you, Mayor. And congratulations on your new business.
Okay, 1 minute. Miss Bell, can you mute? I'm sorry. Ann Bell, can you mute? Thank you. Councilman Palmer?
A question. Have considerations been made to the impact that your business will have on the residential property tenants in the building that live there now?
You kind of cut out in the beginning. Can you please repeat the question?
Have you taken into consideration the impact that the late night hours will have on the 23 residential properties within the same building?
So yes, we have. So we did notice that there are individuals at upstairs. So we kind of plan to not have like really extremely loud music because we kind of want to lean more towards like a band or even like a jukebox or something like that. So we really don't plan to have it as like a club thing as far as, the really loud or anything like that. I mean, I am aware that there's are individuals upstairs, but
Let me add to it. I do talk to the landlord and the former owners put 3-layer drywall sheets to eliminate the noise going upstairs. And since they did that, the complaint kind of died away. So the tenants are okay with it.
You talked to the landlord?
Yes, as far as I'm concerned, the people, the old tenants that are there now, that was the problem they were facing. And then
I'm the landlord. You didn't talk to me.
Not you, but the late, what is her name? Jennifer?
the owner of Cosmos.
Cosmos, Jennifer, and what is the other?
I don't know. She's basically who's in the place now. I guess the manager of Cosmos. That's what it is.
Yeah, he said he did that, and after that, I guess you were fine with it. That because that was the question that I asked.
That was probably some false information you were given, but Can you also describe some of your other experience with running businesses such as this?
Yes, I do own a bar on Delmar, and I do own a bar in a hotel in Nigeria.
Did you once own an interest in a bar called Mood?
Yes.
Can you describe what happened to the closure of that bar?
Okay, I moved, actually it was on a Wednesday night, I had an open mic night. And on my closing, some people came in there and we dragged them out, told them they can't come in, we're about to close, they weren't looking appropriate. 5 minutes after that, they started shooting the place up because they were not allowed to come inside the club. And I went to the public hearing and all that. My liquor license was given back to me and everything after the investigation. I did everything I could in my power.
Is that business still open?
No, I closed it. It wasn't forced to close. I closed it myself.
Okay. No more questions from me.
Thank you, Councilman Palmer. Attorney?
So I just wanted to make clear about the question that was asked about the sale of, liquor by the drink on Sundays. There is a section in Article 2, or excuse me, it is Chapter 4, Article 2, having to do with licenses, which specifically talks about the sale of liquor by the drink on Sundays. And it says as long as a person qualifies, essentially as long as a business or a person qualifies to have a license, they can also apply for and receive from the council a license to sell liquor between the hours of 9 a.m. on Sunday and midnight on Sunday. So it is expressly allowed. And I think Octavia might have some clarifying thoughts on this, but I think on the license, maybe they have to ask for that, or maybe they're, because the way the ordinance reads, it seems as if, selling liquor on a Sunday during those hours is something special that they have to ask for. But it is allowed, and it is something that the council can grant. That's what I wanted to make clear, because I didn't know the answer to it when you asked.
Okay. Councilwoman Noah?
Thank you, Mayor. Just to clarify, is the business going where Cosmos is now? Is that the location?
Yes,
Can you?
ma'am.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Thank you.
Councilman Palmer, then Councilwoman Lipka. Okay, Councilwoman Lipka?
Yeah, I actually have a question for our city attorney. We went through this before. I know all of you on council will remember when we were talking with the group of people that were opening the event center over there off of Purcell. And we were talking about the noise ordinance. So being that, and we had the people of the neighborhoods, the neighbors in Black Oaks were very concerned. If you remember, they came onto the public hearing and discussed their concerns. So my concern, I'm happy that you guys want to come in and have a business. I will tell you, I have concerns about Sunday hours, because the people that live above you have jobs, they have work, then, it's okay. Everybody gets it on the weekend, and I would highly encourage your brunch. But I would say that Sunday evenings would need to be much less low key, or don't do it. Just don't even have Sunday evening hours. But I would say that we need to also evaluate the sound ordinance, because if our Black Oak residents who have a whole section of land and air between their houses and that building can complain, then I can't imagine how much people who live right above can complain. So could you address the sound ordinance issues and the hours that they're allowed to have any loud music or any performing arts?
Sure. The way I read the ordinances is that the grant of a liquor license for Sundays during those particular hours doesn't necessarily give you the right to violate the noise ordinance, right? So there, you have to balance it, right? So, at the end of the day, if the council does give a license to sell liquor between the hours of 9 a.m. And midnight on a Sunday, anybody who gets that license is still required to follow the noise ordinance. And that ordinance, for reference, is chapter 29, article 5, section 29-92, which just simply makes it unlawful for a person to make excessive, unnecessary, or unusually loud noise, or any noise, excuse me, any noise which either damages, disturbs, injures, or endangers the comfort, health, or peace. And so, you know, the granting of a license does not exempt you from, you know, having to follow that.
Apollo, didn't we have a cutoff time though? I could have sworn we had a cutoff time on that noise ordinance for businesses. A sound ordinance.
Let me see. I'm looking at it. To the operation of any such radio, music player, like a boombox, device between the hours of 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. in such a manner to be plainly audible. So yeah, let's see. Yelling, shouting, whistling, or singing between the hours of 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. So it looks like there are a couple of timeframes in here, but they all tend to be, okay, let's see, set permit, permit 10 a.m. and 11 p.m. in the event. No. So yeah, there are a couple of timeframes in here, but they all tend to be, you know, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Anyway, that are actually relevant to what we're talking about. There are a couple of other ones in here, but I don't think they're necessarily relevant to what we're talking
So
about.
basically what you're saying, if I'm understanding you correctly, is that what it's saying is from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. is basically a quiet time. So that would.
That's fair.
I'm giving it a new name.
Yeah, that's fair.
So what I would say to you, potential new owners, that right there, I would encourage you to at least keep that in mind, that 11 p.m. would be the natural cutoff, not the midnight. And I would also say, you know, in terms of your hours, you do absolutely do what you want, but please keep in mind the residents on a Sunday night trying to get some sleep for work.
Yeah.
That's completely understandable. Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Palmer. I guess his hand is stuck. Okay, we're gonna move.
Madam Mayor, I had a question for the clerk, if that's okay.
Okay.
Clerk Pittman, when we have a liquor license application, is there a part of the application that asks for ownership information or a lease agreement, or I'm kind of curious how this came before council when there's not an active lease in place.
I'll go back up there, like. No, so here's what happens. So the lease is required for occupancy. This being a new applicant, what the process we changed last year to where when someone has a new application, before we have them to go through every last one of the steps, they come to the council to ensure that the business is accepted for this particular purpose before expending their money. So while they are pending in all the other processes, they need to know if liquor is going to be accepted before they continue. So yes, the lease agreement is not a part of the liquor license application. It's a part of occupancy and business license.
Okay, thank you. My second isn't a question, it's more a statement. Obviously, I am the landlord of this property. I have not done business with these two. I've actually never even met these two or spoken to them. This is kind of out of the blue for the most part. But the concerns that the previous tenant told them were not nearly as insignificant as the previous tenant must have made them out to be. There's been a lot of problems at that property with the previous owners. Very serious problems with behavior within the business as well as in the parking lot. So it just was kind of surprising to me that this has came before the council, and I haven't even had a single discussion as the landlord with them about this. So I just want to make sure that people know that the concerns of Cosmos were not insignificant within the building or outside of the building. Thank you.
Is it okay if I speak now?
Yes, you can speak.
Mr. Palmer, we genuinely apologize for any honest confusion of everything that you have just stated is new information, completely new information to us. We have asked questions a million times, not even with starting with Jennifer and starting with the broker, Carlton, about, what type of business is this? These are questions that we ask. Not only is the situation from Mood a big situation that he honestly took into account, he closed it because of the traumatizing that it brought to our life. So that is something that we are completely have been unaware of. And when everything was brought to us, it was brought to us in a sense of, this has just been a calm bar restaurant environment. We had literally no idea that you had these concerns. And we genuinely apologize that we're just now hearing your concerns as far as, the previous matter, honestly. Like, this is completely new, and it's definitely
Well,
a shock.
and it's nothing against you. It's just frustrating that you have not gotten truthful information. And I would expect for any realtor that we should have had a meeting as landlord and prospective tenant prior to this, because I can provide you a video of the first night Cosmos was open. An extended magazine, AR-15, was carried into the business the opening night. And I have this on video. So that, not to bring back trauma, but not to say that you're running the same type of business, but it's the concerns are significant. It's not a little bit of noise every now and then. It was fighting in the parking lot. People that were not allowed to go into the business were hanging out in the parking lot and causing problems out in the parking lot. So the business owner did make some good faith at first to try to alleviate some of the concerns, but I honestly got out of hand even further.
And I do want to point out as well that him and myself, as far as me serving in the military and currently still serving in the military, we have so much to lose just in life in general, as my career. So like I stated, this is completely like, just it makes me nervous just to hear this information just now. So yeah,
I guess it makes sense now. That's why we haven't met him.
And yes, and so we've actually asked a million times, the broker to have, certain meetings with you, and I couldn't even point you out ever because of the fact of it was always gone around. And I don't want to keep going on. I'm sorry. I know you guys, this is something that's strictly professional, so I don't want to keep going around, and we can literally talk after this, but we literally had completely no knowledge of this at all. So
that was likely by design.
I'm sorry, repeat that.
I'm guessing that was by design.
And this is what, and then like I stated, because I'm so straight to the books and straightforward with information. The military has literally instilled me in, just being by the books of just doing things the correct way. And so every time we would ask even the broker guy, why is this way? Or even when we would talk to the owner, Jennifer, or, why did we see this and now that you point this out, he's actually questioned something in the glass. So we just ask questions just because of, what's going on. And even Miss Linda's concerned about the noise. Us stating what we've been told of the walls and this is information that we have received. So here we are giving you guys false information that's not even clearly true because of us talking to the broker and the current owner. So that's genuinely our apology on our end.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Lipka, we're going to move on.
Yes, ma'am. So my question, I'm kind of feeling like we're all watching something that is a conversation that still needs to happen that we're not involved in. So what I would ask is there a possibility that this can be tabled for right now so that Mike Palmer can have a discussion with these owners and maybe we bring it back at the 27th meeting and see what the progress has been done at that point? That's a question and for everyone in the call. Is this something that we can table, or Mr. Palmer, is this something that we can table, or Ms. Callahan, is this something we can table?
What's on the floor is their liquor license. However, does any other council person has anything to say? Do you want to move forward or table it until they have an opportunity to actually talk to the owner of the business?
Well, it would seem that they would need to do that in order
Yeah,
to
that's
move
what I'm
forward.
thinking.
Why would we be having this discussion now if
I know it
it hasn't
doesn't
even
make
been
sense.
informed? That doesn't even make sense.
I know it does not make sense, but they have been given misinformation.
Correct.
And now it's coming up. So Councilwoman Robinette had her hand up and we need Councilwoman Robinette.
Yeah, I was going to make a motion to table this at least till September 27th to give the applicants time to speak with Mr. Palmer, Councilman Palmer.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that motion since I brought it up too.
Yeah, well, she's second them. And I'm sitting here wondering why they didn't talk to the owner. Okay, it has been properly moved in second. Are you ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. This will be tabled and you will return on September the 27th at the next city council meeting after you had an opportunity to talk with the owner of the property. We are not denying you anything. We're just giving you an opportunity to talk to the owner so you all can have a conversation.
Okay, will it be Zoom as well?
You have to, Octavia, would you get with them and get Mike's Palmer information to them so they could communicate directly with him?
Do we know, I'm sorry, Mayor, will it be on Zoom as well?
Yes, it'll be, we don't know yet if we're gonna be Zoom or live on the 27th, but you will get the information ahead of time to come back on our next meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, motion passes. So we move on. Octavia Pittman, do we have any other liquor license for approval for tonight?
You all amended the agenda to add Elite Market.
Okay. City Manager, you have anything to share about the Elite's Market subject to approval for license tonight?
Yeah, good evening, Mayor and City Council members of our community. We submitted a settlement agreement to Elite Market that included items that council had communicated were acceptable. Things such as interior and exterior outside footage, things of that nature. I guess my question would be, the next question would be directed to Attorney Carey. Did they accept those terms and sign that agreement?
Yeah.
Okay, so they have agreed to those terms. So if it's council's pleasure, we could move forward with reinstating that license.
Can you go over the terms just one more time?
Paula, do you have that document handy?
Yes, 1 second here. Let me pull it up. So they've agreed to hire qualified and licensed security between 12 p.m. And 11 p.m. the following day. The security will be staffed at the market
Wait a minute, what do you mean security will be staffed? Can you explain that?
They're gonna have a security officer that they're going to pay a
Oh,
private
as a
security
staff member.
officer to be, yeah. The city police department will have the right to make a police substation at the market location. They're going to utilize interior and exterior cameras and then give the city access to the footage of those cameras whenever they're investigating a potential crime. They're going to provide adequate lighting on the exterior and also take reasonable efforts to prevent loitering, public drunkardness, underage drinking, and other crimes that have been seen as nuisances there at the market. They're going to cooperate. They've expressly agreed to cooperate with law enforcement, report any criminal activity happening in or around the market. They are going to abide by all of, obviously, the Ferguson ordinances. And there's some language in here about confidentiality and blah, blah, blah.
So don't they have a lawsuit against us right now?
Yes.
So if we vote in favor of this, does the lawsuit go away? If we vote against
Yes.
it, the lawsuit stay in place?
No. Or yes. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
This is all part of a settlement agreement of the lawsuit. And essentially the settlement agreement is being incorporated into the license.
Are they considering themselves a liquor store or a convenience store?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Councilwoman Noah, thank you. Councilwoman Noah?
I have two questions. So as far as the security, is the security going to be 365 or is it only for short term?
Security guard will be staffed at the market for a period of 60 days following the acceptance of the agreement. For good cause shown, the city may require the security guards continue to be staffed at the market following that 60-day period. So they've expressly agreed to do it for 60 days. If the city requests for it to be longer than 60 days, then they'll do it. But the city has to show good cause.
The city, just for clarity, the city has to show good cause that the business should have security for more than 60 days. Okay.
That's right. That's the way that reads, yes. But also keep in mind that the city has the option to put a police substation there as well at any point in time.
And what does that mean exactly, putting a police substation in the business?
Technically, is the chief on the call? I mean, I guess, if Chief McCall is on the call, maybe he can give you more detail. But my idea of it is that, it's a place where the cops can hang out, park their cars, have meetings, and otherwise make their presence known continuously, without it having to be like actual city property.
Okay, and lastly, Attorney Carey, so once, the council agrees, the court date that was supposed to be in October, there will be no October court date?
Correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understand. Thank you.
Okay, Councilman Palmer.
Madam Mayor, can I address Mr. Carey?
Yes, you can.
Mr. Carey, in regards to reasonable efforts, has reasonable efforts been defined in regards to loitering in the contract?
I'm going to take a look here. I sort of paraphrased what was said, but the answer to the question is, the answer to that is no, it is not defined.
In regards to security, is good cause shown defined?
It is not.
In regards to lighting, is acceptable defined?
Let's see. It's just well, the word is adequate exterior lighting.
Adequate
So
defined.
that to deter loitering from occurring at the market.
Does the
But it is
agreement
not
define?
it was not drafted as a defined term is what I think you're asking.
Okay. What is the time period for performance of this agreement to start?
Immediate, as soon as the council votes and they dismiss the lawsuit, it's an immediate implementation.
And does the agreement address the rules for revocation or non-compliance, like when that comes in and what happens?
Right, and so it does, and one of the reasons why we are making, because this is obviously a settlement agreement, we're in negotiations, right? So typically this is, when we start talking about, litigation and what we're doing to settle a case is normally a closed session topic, but because we are essentially incorporating the settlement agreement into the license itself. And so to the extent that any of these things are violated, we, have the right to, obviously pursue remedies under the agreement, but also, cancel to pull the license.
Does the council reserve that right or the city manager?
The council grants the license, so the council pulls the license. The city manager will bring it up to you.
My next question is, being the devil's advocate, should this not work out and next year during renewal time, the council decides not to renew the license again, similar to this instance? Does this set some sort of precedent where we're going to get our situation where we're negotiating and settlement contracts for every temporary restraining order we do?
When you say set precedent, I don't know if it's been done before, this particular case. But, from my perspective, the idea was to, give the business owner the opportunity to actually, show that they wanted to comply with, because, and if you recall, I was not in attendance at the meeting where you guys didn't reinstate the license. And so, but the report I got back was that, the idea was not to, the idea was not that we were necessarily against, well, the council as a whole was necessarily against the license. It's just that we wanted a business a partner to, help address some of the issues that were going on at the property. And so, I think the city's position, as far as I understood, was always that to the extent that the business owners were willing to be a partner with the city and help address these issues, that we, would work with them moving forward. And I think that might apply to any business owner that we had, that we would, work with them to try to remedy some of the issues, to try to be more of a business friendly community, but also to, make sure people are abiding by our laws.
Thank you. Madam Mayor, permission to address Mr. Osterberg.
So granted, it's granted.
Mr. Osterberg, do we have a process in place for once this is assumed to be accepted, or we'll be checking up on this?
Yeah, so it's not something addressed explicitly in the agreement, but something that we've done when we, for example, administratively suspended a license. We have sent code or police or a combination of those to check up on the operations of the business to ensure that they're following the terms. So that is something that I would be planning to do if this were to pass. But again, that's not something that's explicitly spelled out in the agreement itself.
But Apollo, these are the terms they've come to us with, correct?
These were the things that they offered, correct? And the things that one thing I would like to address in particular with, Councilman Palmer's questions about, the defined terms and, that kind of thing. What I would like is for the city to have maximum flexibility to be able to determine you know, at any point in time, what they believe is adequate, what the city believes is adequate, what the city believes is sufficient for purposes of the measures and the steps that are taken by the you know, the business owner to be in compliance with the settlement agreement. So the way it's written, from my perspective, gives the city maximum latitude to say, you know, no, 4 lights isn't acceptable. You need 6. You know, you need 10. You know, so that was sort of the goal or the thought process anyway, with not, you know, putting in as many defined terms, because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, the city is my client, and I want my client to have the latitude to be able to say, no, we don't want that, we want this. And so that's sort of kind of why we try to steer away from defined terms.
Okay, Councilwoman Lipka.
So just a couple things. You know, the lawyer for this particular organization is also the same lawyer that was for Ferguson Market, correct?
Yeah, and he represents a lot of the convenience store / liquor store owners in our community.
Okay, so I'm making a couple different points here is what I'm trying to say. So first of all, this lawyer should have known his history. He should have known his background. And what I mean by he should have known is that when this was Ferguson Market and the city of Ferguson had issues with them back in late 2016, 17, I'm going to say even some in 18, when we had negotiations with them, Ella, you were on council, we told them to hire security. They hired the security guy. He didn't have any training. He was unfortunately, I mean, not to be discriminatory on body type, but I could have probably beat him up. So he did not have any kind of a authoritative presence. Okay. So we've asked him to hire security before. We've asked them to call police more often for loitering and problems in the building. We've asked them to have cameras interior and exterior. And when we did have his episodes and we had our policemen up there, then conveniently the cameras were broken or they weren't working or the recording wasn't there. These are not new things. And this lawyer knows this. And I don't know if these owners know each other. I don't know if it's a whole change in ownership, completely, but if you have the same lawyer, then you should have the knowledge that that lawyer has from past experiences with this location. The other thing I have issue with is, are you a liquor store or are you a convenience store? We had a long time ago did not approve a store that wanted to go on Chambers in a neighborhood because they wanted too much floor space for liquor in comparison to food value. So again, what are you giving to this community? What are you bringing to this community? Another liquor store? Because if that's the case, turn left, turn right, there's some there. If you're coming into this community and you're bringing in valid, needed resources and different things that people need in their household, fine. If you're going to keep your percentages of alcohol and food appropriately in the realm that the city of Ferguson requires, that's what I'd like to know. The other thing is, when you talk about Apollo, you don't want extreme constraints on these things because you want the city to have the ability to make their own determination on each issue, so to speak, lighting and so forth. Can we have the wording say as determined by the city of Ferguson? That's what I didn't hear. So if we have the wording as determined by the city of Ferguson in this negotiation process, I would feel much more confident in what the city of Ferguson can stand their ground on. Because when I hear you say that they said they'll give us 60 days of security, they'll give us security for 60 days. And then after that, the city will have to show good cause for them to continue. Heck no. You're in our city. You want our liquor license granted to you. It's not a, guarantee just because you have a business. Where do they get to say that to us? That is what we should be saying to them. You will have 60 days. We will be the ones to determine if the next 60 days are necessary. So as determined by the city of Ferguson, that's my opinion. And the other thing is, I would like to say to my fellow council members, do not be afraid to demand better for your community. And if demanding a better mix of businesses for citizens all over the town in every corner equally means that somebody wants to take us to court over a liquor license, then let's stand up to it. I'm tired of breaking down.
Thank
done,
you,
Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman. City Attorney, you still have your hand up? Okay. Councilman Palmer?
Mr. Osterberg, have you internally had conversations with city staff in regards to what these, what reasonable efforts are in the city's opinion, or adequate lighting, or what is insufficient amount of loitering is?
As in related to this business, no, we have not.
Okay. Is there a plan to try to somehow internally quantify what we're looking for, or what is the?
I mean, to speak to, it's probably better to speak to my approach with these things. So, for example, when we had the agreement with Qureshi over at R&R, we agreed to have these things done, and then it was an iterative process where he said, "Hey, I've done these things. Can you stop by and check by?" And then we went, and then we gave feedback. Hey, look, you have these 3 cameras up, but we would really like additional footage here. So can you put an additional camera up? That's the way that we have approached it. We weren't trying to have an idea and then say, do this. It was, we gave it an opportunity, and then we kind of went back and we're given an opportunity as a city to kind of check what steps were taken.
Okay, and your plan is to address this in a similar fashion?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Apollo?
Yeah, one thing I will just bring up, and I don't know if this was said already by Councilwoman Lipka or someone else. We talked a little bit about what had been given to, I guess Cousins Market, what used to be Elite Market or Cousins Market in the past. I did want to mention that this was completely new ownership. While the lawyer is the same, it is the same lawyer from the previous ownership. The owners themselves are new owners, which the way it was presented by the attorney, which was why their offer to do all the things that they offered to do was, from their perspective, to try to put their best foot forward, because these new owners want to, understand that they're sort of tainted by the stigma of what the previous owners did or didn't do. And they wanted to sort of put their, best foot forward to show that they are willing to be a partner and given sort of a fair opportunity or a fair chance to show the city that they're, serious about complying with the ordinances and the laws, as well as with, the additional stuff that we put in the settlement agreement. So I just wanted to put that out there.
So basically, the new owners, even though the other owners did all these things and badly, the new owners didn't know that. So they were offering the same type of thing in good faith with what they want to accomplish.
Yes, that was the way it was presented to me.
Mayor, I just had one more question, and then I want to get off so that Naquita can ask. If we approve this and we don't see the results, we don't see what we want, can we revoke it just as quickly? And that's to you and the city manager.
Yeah, do you want me to answer? Were you asking me?
I'd like both of you to answer, just what would be the process of revoking this if we in 60 days, we see a major problem, I would be like, done.
So I'll start with my address and say that to addressing the question, again, I'll use R&R Market as a example. When we earlier this year, we had the suspension for a time. It was communicated to R&R that in the event that they did not follow the criteria or demonstrate what we had kind of agreed upon, that we would be going back to an administrative hearing where we would be taking additional actions, such as suspending the license or permanently revoking the license. So I believe we could take that same step here, but I would defer to Apollo on that.
Yeah, so those procedures are, codified in the ordinances. And I think what I would recommend for the council to do is, if there is going to be a motion to reinstate the license, I would move to reinstate the license and incorporate the terms and conditions of the settlement agreement into that license reinstatement. So that would be sort of the complete motion that I would recommend the council make if that's the direction that the council is going to go.
Okay, thank you, Attorney Apollo. Well, I am requesting a motion in a second, according to what the attorney has said about the agreement that it be placed in the motion and the second to approve the liquor license for Elite Market.
I'll make that motion, Mayor. Tony Burrow.
Okay,
Exactly as stated. As you
okay.
did.
So Mayor, just real quick question. I'm sorry, I was writing down stuff as you were saying. So you're putting a motion on the floor to
I'm
approve the,
requesting a motion.
okay, so you requested a motion to be put on the floor to approve the liquor license as stated by the settlement agreement to become a permanent part of their license agreement.
Correct.
Okay, just want to make sure.
And Councilwoman Burrows so moved. Is there a second? Is there a second to the motion? Is there a second to the motion? Is there a second to the motion? I've asked 3 times, is there a second to the motion?
I have a question. It's gonna fail because you asked 3 times, nobody answered. So for Apollo Carey, Mayor, can I ask this question? So when
Yes.
you in this situation, when we have a motion that's failed and there is a lawsuit pending, what would be in your position if you were in this case as a lawyer? Where would you take this case?
Well, so I am in the case as a lawyer. So I would
as their lawyer.
well, I mean, the litigation continues. I mean, if we're not going to pass the motion, I think then I think we need to sort of take that discussion back to a closed session.
Okay.
Yeah, like the reason that we even brought this out was because we wanted the settlement agreement to be incorporated, and if the city was going to go in that direction, the settlement agreement to be incorporated in the license.
Thank you. You just answered my question. That's where we're going. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Is number 4, is there a second to the motion? Hear none, the motion fails on the floor. We move to proclamations. We don't have any proclamations tonight. We do have several resolutions. Resolution number 2022-39. Without objections, were introduced by council members present. Hear none. Attorney Carey, could you please read the resolution?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution number 2022-39, a resolution authorizing certain officials to execute instruments relating to city accounts held with Regions Equipment Finance Corporation.
City Manager, could you please explain?
Yeah, good evening, Mayor and City Council. This is similar to the item that was on the last council meeting. This just authorizes Evan Trump, Octavia, and myself to be signatories on bills for our debt service. Simple as that.
Okay, thank you. I'm requesting a motion and a second for approval.
Tony Burrow, so moved.
Naquita, no, a second.
Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Did we lose her?
No,
No,
Clerk
she's
Pittman.
muted.
She's probably still writing.
I'm sorry, I was actually calling roll, trying to figure out why no one was answering. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Thinking we lost Councilwoman Burrow. Councilwoman Burrow.
Aye.
Councilwoman Robinette.
Aye.
Mayor Jones.
Aye.
Councilwoman Lipka.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nelson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Noah.
Aye.
Councilman Palmer.
Aye.
Resolution number 2022-39 passes. We have resolution number 2022-40. Without objections, we're introduced by council members present. Hear none, Attorney Carey, could you please read the resolution?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution number 2022-40. A resolution selecting a contractor for the fireworks display at the 4th of July celebration, awarding the contract to said contractor, and authorizing the city manager to execute the contract on behalf of the city.
City manager.
Yes, good evening, City Council. Mayor, we have Dave Musgrave, Director of Parks, here to talk on this item.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. I submitted a memo along with this resolution. We sent it out to bid, as we typically do, for another 3-year contract. So for 23, 24, and 25, we received back a single bid from J&M Displays, which has been our vendor for the past 10 years from what I remember. They came in at $19,000. It's about 522 shells and approximately 22 minutes in length. So we're getting more shells than we got this past 4th of July for the same price that we had budgeted this past 4th of July is what it boils down to. If there's more questions, more than happy to answer those.
Any questions for Park Director Dave Musgrave? Councilwoman Lipka.
Is there any other company out there, Dave? I mean, come on. And are they going to yank us around again? Are they going to raise the price? Are they going to stick to this price for 3 years? Are they going to come back at us? I mean, because they've raised the price on us over these years too. They haven't stuck to their contract. And yeah, they've done us a few favors during COVID and things like that. And it was much appreciated. It was also kind of expected because we've been a long-term customer of theirs. And I'm very 50-50 with this company. I really wish we had someone else. Is there any way we can like keep looking or what?
I'll be honest, this was out to bid for over a month. They were the only one. We did advertise it nationally, so we didn't get any other bites. They are a regional company. I believe they're actually based in Nebraska. So they're probably one of the closer ones when it comes to this volume of display. I will say that I'm looking at other options for the future, but this will probably be the way we go for at least 23 and the subsequent years, unless we find something different.
So are you basically saying, even though we've got a 3-year contract, that you're looking at the opportunity of walking out of that 3-year contract if we can find something better?
Correct.
Okay, but if we can do that, are they able to raise prices on their end as well?
Yes. So the contract gives way out at the tail end, but this is the best deal we have on the table right now.
I just want to verify something, Dave, when you said.
I still have my hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't raise my hand and I don't see your hand. I'm so sorry. I have a problem with my hand. Remember, I said that at the beginning. I used to, and I'm sorry. So
That's
let me
okay.
know so I can ask a question.
Yes, ma'am. So the question I do have, this is the same price we spent this past year. Is are we in the same neighborhood of pricing the last couple of years? Because, we've been pretty tight on that budget and I'm just wondering, and you're saying that we're going to have a longer show than we did this year?
Only by 2 minutes longer, but yes, longer.
Okay. All right. We might be able to get more if we could just ask the citizens who spend thousands of dollars on their own fireworks to donate to the city show, because if everybody would do that, we'd probably have a $50,000 show on our hands. But I'm done now. Go ahead, Ms. Burrow.
I would defer to the fire chief on that.
Councilwoman Burrow.
Dave, just so we're clear, when you say you will walk out of that contract, you were just kidding, right? I can understand that if you got a better deal. I just want to make it clear, so we don't have nobody coming back with a question about what you said. So let's just be clear. You're not going to walk out of a contract. And what really will happen if somebody comes with a better deal, we'll walk our way through it for the
Correct.
next years after that. So let's just go ahead and make that the record for tonight. Is that okay?
That is 100% accurate.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I'm requesting a motion and a second for approval.
Tony Burrow, I move to approve.
Laquita Noah,
Second.
Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Burrow,
Aye.
Councilwoman Robinette,
Aye.
Mayor Jones,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lipka,
Aye.
Councilwoman Nelson,
Aye.
Councilwoman Noah. Councilwoman Noah.
Is she
Hello?
muted?
No, I was, hello, can you hear me?
I can now, yes, ma'am.
Aye.
Councilman Palmer.
Aye.
Resolution number 2022-40 passes. We have resolution number 2022-41. Without objections, we're introduced by council members present. Hear none, Attorney Carey, could you please read the resolution?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution number 2022-41. Sorry. A resolution selecting a contractor for the renovation of the Veterans Memorial located at January Wabash Memorial Park, awarding the contract to said contractor, and authorizing the city manager to execute the contract on behalf of the city.
City Manager.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council, members of our community. Dave Musgrave is here to update council on this item as well.
Good evening, Mayor, good evening, Council. You all remember that a group of donors raised approximately $40,000 to redo the Veterans Memorial over at January Wabash Park. We've sent this out to bid multiple times with different phases. This time it is looking at redoing the brick wall along with the coping on the top, the concrete top. Sent it out to bid. It was out for about 3 weeks. We got one bid back at $19,000 and some change. The bottom line is we need to make progress on this project so that the donors can go back out and hit some of these larger vendors they hit the first time around to raise additional funds to get this project finished. If we can't show progress at this point, they can't go back to the large corporations and ask for additional dollars to get it to where it needs to be. So we need to get this first phase knocked out. We have a price that we can afford. It'll be a good face for the wall and kind of getting us some progress on the road. And then hopefully we can return to some of these people and say, hey, we need a little bit more donated so we can get over the finish line with this project and move forward. So that's where we're at.
Thank you, Dave. Councilman Palmer.
Mr. Musgrave, what is the cost of all the phases? I'm just curious, total.
You have to remember that went out to bid almost 4 years ago. We were looking at close to $105,000 total at that point.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm requesting a motion and a second for approval.
Tony Burrow, so approved.
Second, Heather Robinette.
Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Robinette,
Aye.
Mayor Jones,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lipka,
Aye.
Councilwoman Nelson,
Aye.
Councilwoman Noah,
Aye.
Councilman Palmer,
Aye.
Councilwoman Burrow.
Aye.
Resolution number 2022-41 passes. We have resolution number 2022-42. Without objection, we're introduced by council members present. Hear none. Attorney Carey, could you please read the resolution?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution number 2022-42, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into and execute an agreement with ESO Fire and EMS reporting software.
City Manager.
Good evening, Mayor, members of City Council, community. We have Chief Hampton to update the City Council on this item.
Mayor, Council, pleasure to be here. On this topic, I sent the memo as well, like Dave did. I didn't want to be outdone by Dave. But this is Firehouse software is basically what we use currently. It has been purchased by ESO. There's not going to be any more support for the firehouse software that we currently use at the end of January. With the new ESO program, we're actually going to be able to increase some of the things we can do, such as inventory and items like that. And this will be better tracking for our ESO points. I know it's a bigger cost, but when we did the capital, this is going to be, the first portion is going to be in the capital, and then it will go to the general fund next year in the budget.
Councilwoman Robinette.
So Chief Hampton, so ESO had the previous software and that's being discontinued after however many years. And this is the new software that they have, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So is there any way, like, do you need to keep the data from the prior system? Or is there a migration path for them to do that? Or do you just get it in storage, or does that go to another system?
Yes, ma'am. So we'll be able to, it's an archive, and it will be with where we will be able to go to it with the ESO.
Okay.
It will take them approximately 2 to 2.5 months to get this whole process done. That's why we're bringing it to you today. So in January 1, we'd all be trained and it'll be implemented by then.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. I request a motion and a second for approval.
Tony Burrows, so move.
Second, Heather Robinette.
Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Yes, Mayor Jones.
Aye.
Councilwoman Lipka.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nelson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Noah.
Aye.
Councilman Palmer.
Aye.
Councilwoman Burrow.
Aye.
Councilwoman Robinette.
Aye.
Resolution number 2022-42 passes. Bills requiring first reading, we have none. We have bills requiring second reading. Bill number 7232. I'm requesting a motion and a second to read the bill a second time and place it upon its passage.
So move, Naquita Noah.
Second, Phaedra Nelson.
Attorney Carey, could you please read the bill?
Yes, ma'am. Bill number 7232, an ordinance amending chapters 25 of the municipal code of the city of Ferguson relating to issuance of a business license to rent residential real estate.
Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Is there any room for question?
Question. Councilwoman Lipker, you have a question?
Well, I'm just trying, I apologize, and I've had, I had a long last couple months.
You okay? You okay?
Can you reiterate to me what the change is in this bill? And I'm asking for a little clarification, even though everybody else is up to speed and I'm not, but before I vote on this, I would like some clarification.
City Manager, could you please provide the clarification?
Actually, I believe there was a counselor who proposed this legislation, not myself. Was it Counselor Noah?
Yes, I can speak. It was actually myself and Councilwoman Nelson. We worked on the amendment. Let me go to what we changed, what the proposed change.
That would help me. Thank you.
Yeah, you should have received an email, but let me pull it up. One moment, Councilwoman Lipka. I'll have to locate it.
While Councilwoman Noor looking it up, Councilwoman Nelson, do you have anything to add?
No, I was sitting here trying to pull it up as well.
Mayor, is this something that was sent out to the whole council?
Yes.
Okay, do you know the date on it?
No, I don't have the email in front of me.
Dated, the email is dated 8/19/2022 at 12 p.m. There was a red line sent out to council.
Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
8/19, okay.
I can
And
report.
it's from you, Miss Noah?
It's from City Manager Osterberg. Let me,
Oh, okay, I was looking at it for you now. 1 second.
What is the red line item in the email?
I'm reading now. Okay, sorry, it's skipping. One moment, Mayor, sorry. Okay, so if you open the bills, it says at the top, Bill 7194. Scroll down and it's section 2521.
Track changes. Okay, 7222. There it is. 32. There it is. Okay, go down. Section.
Ms. Newell, can you just read it?
I can, but I want to show her if she wants.
Yeah,
to-
so you're looking at section 2521 subsection C.
Section 2521.
Subsection 3, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, what does it state, Councilwoman Noah?
So the city, by and through its code enforcement, shall inspect the property should it receive information or complaints that raise concerns of health or safety. If code enforcement finds that the property is a health or safety risk, code enforcement may issue the following penalties. 1, a written warning for an initial or minor violation. 2, citation with a $25 fee assessed payable within 30 calendar days. The licensee shall have 30 calendar days to remedy the violation set forth in the citation unless code enforcement agrees to an extension of time for good cause shown. Within 45 days, the property shall be re-inspected at a cost to the licensee of $50 with payment due within 14 calendar days. Failure to comply with the terms of section 25-21(3)(1)(2), just to be simple, shall be grounds for suspension, revocation as set forth in section 2523.
Okay, and then you took out section 4261. In the event that a residential rental retail real estate license is suspended or revoked, it shall be unlawful for the owner or subscriber to enter into any new leasing agreements or to renew a lease or to continue to lease or accept rental payments during the time of suspension or revocation for premises that are already leased beyond the current lease or for more than 1 year, whichever is shorter. You took that out? Why would you take that out?
Well, when we sent it to the attorneys, I don't recall removing that. That was when it came back, that was taken out.
Yeah, because it's red line.
Yeah, it is red line.
Anybody want to answer that one?
Anybody think that we should not be doing this until we get it right?
Correct. Is there any reason why we cannot postpone this one more time and go over it so everybody will be in agreement and on the same page?
I have no problem with that. I just don't want to hold something up that does look like a good process. I just want to make sure we're
Mayor,
completely honest.
Mayor, I move that we postpone this and do it right.
Is there a second?
Mayor,
Yes.
Mayor, we just need to withdraw the motion that's on the floor first.
Okay, we could just withdraw the motion that's on the floor.
Thank you.
Who made the motion?
Tony Burrow,
Okay, would you please withdraw your motion?
I withdraw the motion that's on the floor.
Okay, the motion.
It was Councilwoman Noah. This was the motion to read it a second time and then place it upon its passage.
Correct.
And so that's the motion that needs to be withdrawn.
Okay, thank
I
you.
withdraw the motion.
Councilwoman Noor?
I withdraw the motion.
Thank you, Ms. Newell.
Okay, the motion has been withdrawn. We come to bill number 7233.
I'm sorry.
Before we go any further with that, we postpone.
Mayor,
Yes.
time out, sorry. I apologize. We withdrew Councilwoman Noah's motion, but did we put in a motion to table this till next week or next meeting?
No, we did not. That's why.
No, we did not. No, we did
So,
not.
so that's the motion that I was gonna do, so I'll do it now. With the same language, Octavia, I make a motion to table this until the next. Madam Mayor, do you want it to be the next?
Let it
council
be
meeting?
the next meeting so everyone would have an opportunity to go back and review bill
Okay.
number 7232.
So is that October 27th, Octavia?
September.
September 20th.
Thank you.
So now there's, just so that I'm clear, there's a motion from Councilwoman Burrow to postpone the second reading of Bill 7232 until September 27th.
Yes.
Thank you.
Is
I'll
there,
sec-
is
I'll
there a
sec-
second?
Second, Linda Lipka.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Bill number 7232 has been withdrawn and postponed to September the 27th meeting. The last time bill number 7233 came up, we postponed it to this meeting, September the 13th. So the questions become, do you want to proceed on this bill without having the meeting for boards and commission?
No, ma'am, because this whole thing was about having the boards and commissions meeting first so that we could do this.
That is correct. That is correct. So do we want to postpone it again until after we have the meeting with boards and commission?
That would be my motion on the floor for, if that's what you're asking for as a motion.
I'm requesting a motion.
Yes, ma'am. But this is Tony Burrow. I make the motion that we postpone this meeting until after we've had the meeting, which would probably be a working session for boards and commissions.
And again, why are we having this working session?
You don't have to call it working session. If that's hung you up, just take those words out.
I'm using your words, Ms. Burrow.
I'm saying, but if it's a bother to you,
I'm
take
using your words. My question is, and why are we having a working session? I'm just using your words.
we're not having a working session. I just said we're gonna take it out. We okay with that? Third time, we're gonna take those words out until we have a meeting.
Why are we having a meeting then? I mean, this one I get.
It's supposed to be, we're gonna do
Well,
all
for
of
the
boards.
issue that people still needed to discuss.
Do you want me to answer?
I do.
Okay. We are having a meeting several meetings prior to this one. We're having a meeting to discuss all of boards and commissions. And so as we do that, we will come up with what are we gonna do for boards and commissions as a whole, not just one here, one there, single them out, so it can be uniform. Ms. Lipton.
Okay,
You was here when we talked about that.
Yes, I was. What I'm questioning though is the way the bill is written does have a uniform for all the boards and commissions. The only one that it singles out is the library board. So if it's already addressing a uniform situation, I guess I'm just trying to figure out why we have to keep having these meetings when we've got people waiting in the wings to do hard work for our community.
Did you say why we keep having these meetings? We haven't had the meeting.
We
They
keep
haven't
having
had the
discussion
first
based on a
meeting.
resolution that has been presented properly and efficiently and has been written well. But yet we still have to find all these questions for it and still have to create a meeting for it and so forth. That's what I'm questioning.
So that one is for the whole of the boards and commissions. We agreed upon this, and we're going back over it again. We have not had that meeting. And this is not a meeting to have a meeting. This is a meeting so that we can do it right.
Is there a motion on the floor to postpone bill number 7233 until we have a meeting with boards concerning the boards and commission?
I put that on the floor already.
Is there a second?
Andrew Nelson, second.
Phaedra Nelson, second.
Thank
All
you.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Nay.
No.
No.
Okay. City Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Burrow,
Aye.
Councilwoman Robinette,
Nay.
Mayor Jones,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lipka,
Nay.
Councilwoman Nelson,
Aye.
Councilwoman Noah,
Aye.
Councilman Palmer,
Nay.
What is the vote count?
there are 3 ayes and, I'm sorry, 4 ayes and 3 nays.
4 ayes
Yes, ma'am.
and 3 nays. Bill number 7233 has been postponed until after the meeting concerning boards and commissions. Number 10, unfinished business. Do we have any unfinished business? Here none.
I would like for us to open up our planners and set a meeting to discuss bill number 7233.
Sounds good to me.
City Clerk Pittman has sent out an email with all the meetings for the month of September. There were only a couple of, maybe 3 dates available. Clerk Pittman, can you please get that email if possible and give us the dates that are available before we start setting dates on top of dates?
Thank you.
So the dates that I suggested for special meetings in September were September the 22nd and September the 29th.
I can make both of those work.
I'm not available in September.
I can make the both work, a 6 p.m. meeting.
Okay.
I cannot make the 22nd work at all. And I'm not quite sure I can make the 29th work. That's a big if, and I can't say right now. But I know the 22nd I cannot at all. I'll be on the road to go to my father's funeral.
Is there any reason why that you cannot send to Clerk Pittman 3 possible days that you can meet, 22nd, 29th, or maybe the first week in October?
Are you talking
that
that just me or to all of us?
All of us.
I will be happy to send an email.
Mayor, right now, I will tell you, I can lean toward the end of the first week of October.
Okay, everyone select 3 dates that you are available. Send them to Clerk Pittman, and we will come up with one date that at least a quorum would be present to hold the meeting about boards and commission. Is that agreeable amongst everyone?
It's good with me.
Is it agreeable?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am. For
Yes.
me, it is.
Okay.
Mayor,
Okay.
just for clarity, it's going to be 3 October dates, so we're just moving into October now.
No, you are to send 3 dates to the city clerk that you are available.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Any new business? Hear none, we move to miscellaneous. Councilwoman Noor.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. So this coming Saturday is September 17th is World Cleanup Day. And just so happened we're cleaning the creek off of Elkin, that portion of the Maylene Creek from 9 a.m. until 12 p.m. We are seeking volunteers. If anyone can come out and assist, lunch will be provided. I would like to thank Dave Musgrave and Open Space Council for helping to support this creek cleaning, and especially after the recent flood. It's even more important that we take care of our environment, keep our creeks clean so water can flow freely. There is a rain date set for September the 18th, but seems like the weather is going to be pretty clear for the 17th, this Saturday. The North Hills Neighborhood Association meeting will be postponed this Saturday. It's usually every third Saturday, but because we'll be cleaning the creek, we won't be able to have the meeting. The South Central Ferguson Neighborhood Association meeting is every fourth Thursday of the month, and the Southwest Ferguson meeting is every fourth Monday of the month. The meetings are all Zoom. At the last council meeting, Mayor Jones spoke to the topic of dangerous dogs wandering throughout our community. To piggyback, we also want to ensure that our youth are safe as they walk to and from their bus stops, as well as the overgrowth of vegetation that covers many lots, vacant homes, and signage throughout our community. With daylight saving times approaching fastly, the limited lighting on many streets, and the overgrowth of vegetation in many areas, it's also very relative. I appreciate City Manager Osterberg and the Ferguson staff commitment to working towards mitigating and resolving these ongoing issues throughout our community. It's not ignored. I definitely appreciate staff. One of my SMART goals is to continue to work with the council and our city manager to help keep our residents safe and healthy. And lastly, we just spoke about the meetings, but I am looking forward to meeting with council and the mayor on revising the boards and commissions ordinance, the manual, and the application so that we can utilize citizens at their best, because we need citizens to serve on the boards. So thank you, and everyone be safe.
Thank you, Councilwoman Noor. Councilman Palmer.
As Ms. Noah said, we definitely value and need more dedicated residents to serve on our boards. I look forward to the meeting in the next month or so to discuss our boards and commissions and hear all the innovative ideas that my fellow council people have for changing our boards and commissions. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Burrow.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to give a big shout out to Eric Osterberg for his help with the Jasky Park Association, Neighborhood Association, and we've come a long way. I do want to talk to Dave Musgrave about cleaning out that creek that we have there. We were denied cleanup because there might be some issues with safety. What we're planning on cleaning out the creek is just so happened with all the floods, they think it might be a little bit dangerous right now. I do want to tell you that there are some dates in October for Jasky Park meeting. We're going to have a meet and greet on October the 15th at 4:30 to 7 o'clock. And so if you guys, everybody's welcome. You don't have to live in Jasky. There will be some flyers coming out for that. And I just want to thank all of the responders that has helped in the flood. I was mentioning earlier today about how there are people in other municipalities around us here in North County that are having some issues, but I was able to contact Eric Osterberg and let him know about it. And right away, he was on top of it. And so those people that were in need to speak with FEMA and weren't getting anywhere are now going to be getting some help. There are other things going around in the city. There's going to be for clergy, the Ferguson Florissant School District has started back. They haven't had one since before COVID, so that will be happening. And if all of you would come out, there's a survey going around from Ferguson Florissant School District, and we're trying to put together a list of all those folks that want to be able to help children to read. We have a lot of people in the Ferguson Kiwanis Club who are doing just that, reading, helping in the classroom. Terrific kids are being taken care of through the Kiwanis of Ferguson. So a lot of things going on for the good. And I appreciate all of you that answer the call. Thanks so much for volunteering. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Burrow. Councilwoman Robinette.
I have nothing this evening. Thank you.
Councilwoman Lipka.
Yes, ma'am. Trying to think, is this my first council meeting back since I got back home?
Number 2.
No, was that a council meeting? Or was that just us in our own meeting?
Council meeting. Whatever. You have the floor.
Well, the point being, if I didn't say it then, I'm saying it now because I really can't remember. And I think this is my first official council meeting. I just want to thank those of you that reached out to me during my time of taking care of my father. It was not expected that he would pass away on the trip that I was there, and it was not expected that I would extend the trip as much as I did. But I was very blessed and honored to have been given the opportunity to be with my father to the very end. So thank you for your support. Also want to, I got home and I had about 7 days and a holiday weekend in there to jump on board and get the Taste in Ferguson rolling. Want to thank all that came out yesterday. No, I'm sorry, Sunday. I've already lost track of my days again. I want to thank all that came out on Sunday. It was a beautiful day. It was a beautiful event. We were outdoors again. It was nice to see some fellow council member faces there. Thank you for supporting this. This is a labor of love for me. I'm glad that it supports and helps my city. And it has absolutely nothing to do with my political situation as a council member. It has everything to do with my parental situation, with my heart and my love for my daughter and her memory and helping other people. So please don't get the two mixed up. But do know I am very honored that in the process of doing this labor of love and helping children to get their education, I'm also able to help my community that I love so much. So that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilwoman Lipka. Councilwoman Nelson.
Just a couple of things. I can't remember if I said this on the last meeting, but I just wanted to thank all the volunteers and residents of Ferguson that came out to help on August the 21st for the backpack giveaway. We were able to give out over 558 backpacks that day, and I just wanted to thank everyone for coming out and making that day successful, and definitely thank resident Shropshire for doing the grilling for us, for the volunteers and everyone that day as well. And then also Nesbitt Newton will be having a neighborhood meeting on August the 20th. I'm sorry, September 21st at 6 p.m. at Nesbitt Newton Park. And got to attend the I-270 project yesterday, and Governor Parson was there regarding the 270 project and the infrastructure that's going on with our strip through North County. And it was also good to hear about the funds that he said that will be coming available for a lot of the municipalities out here in the county, of course, to for infrastructure, and that we need to make sure that that our city is definitely involved in getting some of those funds to be able to help with a lot of the infrastructure in our municipality. So that's all I got.
Thank you, Councilwoman Nelson. Clerk Pittman.
Mayor, just a public reminder of the public hearing for the redistricting commission on September the 20th at 7 p.m.
It will be in the council.
It's in the council chambers, but it'll also be on Zoom.
Okay, thank you, Clerk Pittman. Attorney Carey. He said he doesn't have anything at this time.
Mayor Jones, I'm sorry, did anybody mention anything so far about the Samaritan person and how many homes are left to be done for the volunteer? If not, I got a report on that real quick.
Well, we were going to try to do a town hall to make all that information available. So if you want to say it now, go ahead and say it.
Okay, I just want to say that the Samaritan Purse has completed flood cleanup for 272 homes so far. They got 72 more that they're gonna do. They need some volunteers, and if you want to volunteer, it's like a half a day of training, like 4 hours. And the training is from Monday to Saturday, right up there at the First Baptist of Ferguson, and the phone number is the same as it's been always. It's 521-1515 if you want to volunteer. Only 72 more houses to go.
Okay, thank you for the update, Councilwoman Burrow.
Yes, ma'am.
City Manager.
No updates.
Okay. At this time, I don't have anything at this time, but I will send your email out by Friday. The city manager and I have a meeting coming up with FEMA, probably Thursday, so I'll send an email out after we have that meeting. At this time, I'm requesting a motion in a second to adjourn the meeting.
Tony Burrows, so moved.
Phaedra, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Everyone have a good night.
Good night.
Take care.
Back to you.